in a few episodes back, I was talking about Imperial Knowledge. And so, I want you to check out this video by Naeem Akbar, who, he says it precisely and better than how I would say it. You know what I mean? Or I've tried to say it. You know what I mean? It's eloquently spoken.
They had to emulate. It's painful for them to internalize the concept that their society, their civilization is rooted in something that emanated out of the minds of the people who they chose to define as being inferior. So the fear of women and the fear of African people combined together to create this overwhelming fear which made them run away from the other sides of themselves. And in running away from the other sides of themselves, they created this prostituted and prevaricated so-called science, which excludes the most significant components. The fundamental error of dividing man up in this dichotomous way and putting him into mind, into body, and making that which is mind and spirit either become feminine or superstitious or mystical or spiritual, which of course women and black people have a lot of. So they talk about black magic and mysticism and all that spiritual stuff among African people, but they do it in a derogatory and a degrading sense. The idea is that spirituality is inferior to science. And in order to speak profoundly, one must speak scientifically, because that's that weak stuff. But it's very significant that they gave what they could not handle to those who they could not accept. And they gave that which they could not understand to those who gave them all that they have. And in the process of doing so, they divided their own potential for development. That's why we need to redeem them and redeem ourselves before they kill us. Let's go on.
All right, the next topic is, how to unite, because my whole goal is to unite black people, and it's not to lie, you know what I mean, and not like that. It's like the only way we're gonna grow is to unite, you know what I'm saying? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad showed us that we are original people. So whether we from the Sudan, South India, you know what I mean, or Aborigines of America, which is us, you know what I mean. We all black people, we come from the same origin, and we have the most potential mentally and physically. Even with handicaps, we outshine, So anyway, there's a video of a young lady from Nigeria who talks about how her mom told her that, she was not black, and, that it was like, this was a slave thing, came from slavery. People who think they're black, don't know their culture, their heritage, And so, the video, check it out.
Let me say that again. I am not black, okay? Hear me out. Growing up, my mom absolutely hated when we refer to ourselves as black. She's like, you're not black, you're Nigerian, you're African. I feel like the term someone is black obviously comes from the slave era, but it also just describes displaced people that don't know their heritage. So I feel like people that do know their heritage, to try and curb racism in some way, people are going to be racist. Ignorance is ignorance. You can't. But just curb racism in a small way. Stop referring to yourself as black. If you know where you're from, you're raised in a certain household. Somalians are Somalians, Ethiopians are Ethiopians, Nigerians are Nigerians. Like, if you know where you're from, why refer to yourself as a color? I feel like when we say black, it just sounds so harsh, and like, this is black. I'm brown. I'm Nigerian at the end of the day. Like, that's who I am. That's where I come from.
None of the colonies at the Berlin Conference was designed to be nations. So when you say Nigeria, people know that Nigeria's independence is 1960, but Nigeria really was amalgamated in 1914. So the concept of Nigeria was created in 1914. Now, the British had a company called the Royal African Company. It was later renamed the Royal Niger Company, because if you know, the Niger River starts in around Guinea, sails all the way into Igbo land in Nigeria. And because the Niger River has a very sharp bend, they divided the regions. But this man called Frederick Lugard, the British general governor, him and a lady called Flora Shaw, they were figuring out, okay, it's easier to manage this place as one colony. So he said to her, what should we name it? So he basically named this area based on the Niger River. They called it the Niger area, which is where we get the name Nigeria. Even the word Niger, where we get the word nigger, black land, so black area. The French did the exact same thing. That's why the country to the north of Nigeria is called Niger, not to be confused also with one of the states in Nigeria is called Niger State.
So it's like we are the founders, creators of Kemet. Remember Kemet? Black land. Kem means black. Niger, black. Nigeria, black area. You know, so what's crazy about it is that, you know, it's important not to point fingers, because once we start pointing fingers, it shows our ignorance, you know? And I think that's what that video demonstrates, is that she's coming from a superior point of view, you know? And, you know, and it's based on, you know, fallacies, not on facts, you know? So we have to be careful with that, you know? We all the same people, you know? We're all the same people. Africa at one time, you know, within the last 6 years was united as one nation. You know, and it was basically Mali. Mali had the whole thing, you know? So, you know, we all the same, you know? And I mean, we could say, yo, we different, and that's how, you know, like, you know, they want it, you know, because it's like they...
P-Funk City G.